Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. Whenever this video finds you, I hope you're having a rad time. I'm the Figure Dude, and on today's Work in Progress Wednesday, I've got Team Angle to add to my collection. Without further ado, let's talk about some figures. Dude. Welcome back. Like I said, today I am working on Team Angle. I do have two head scans that I took from Jakks figures, so I didn't have to source those from anywhere. Those were in my collection. I started with Jakks, and I still have a lot of those. So the Charlie Haas is from Jakks, Shelton Benjamin is from Jakks, but then everything else is Mattel pieces. You can see with Charlie Haas, I have an Angle torso, and that is from the very first Kurt Angle custom that I ever did. I was kind of winging it. I didn't know what I was doing. It was okay for the time, but I've come a long way since then. Ended up redoing my Kurt Angle, so his torso is going to be repurposed for this Charlie Haas. The crotch piece and the legs are from one of the Daniel Bryan Elites. The knee pads are one thing I'm going to change up. So I've got red knee pads with the blue over them, with some Jakks blue knee pads over them, and I changed my mind. I just thought it would look a little smoother if I paint the red on. So Charlie Haas always wore like red sleeves under his blue knee pads, so I don't like the bulkiness of how it looks with those. So I think what is going to happen is I'm going to paint red and then put blue knee pads over, but then I just have some Michael Hayes boots from his Elite 83 figure. So a lot of different parts, but they're all Mattel, so they all go smoothly together, not a huge deal. And scale-wise, they go pretty well. So it really was pretty simple. I just had to find the pieces in my collection. The Shelton Benjamin, again, he is just a hodgepodge of different pieces. Some arms, and I think those are from a Junkyard Dog Elite. The torso is one of the Bushwhacker torsos. Obviously, I'm going to be painting that. I have a ton of painting to do with both figures. They did not have like matching singlets, they did not have singlets that were the same. They were different, but they both were red, white, and blue, so they matched. The crotch piece on the Shelton is actually from a Cesaro figure, and then I had a Kofi Kingston, and that's where those legs came from, but the legs broke, like the peg broke, so I just had those arms, or the legs, the lower legs, and then I popped those onto an old Elite Cesaro. So the knee pads, just some red knee pads in my collection. The boots are from one of my Kyle O'Reilly Elites. I had a few spares. So I'm going to go ahead, I'm going to start painting. I'm going to prime a lot of these, especially the Shelton figure with white. I got to paint some skin tones. I've got to paint their different color singlets. So a lot of work to do, but nothing too complex. Just going to take a while to get through all of it. So once I get done painting too, I have decals, which is why these have kind of been on the back burner, just because I know how much work is going to have to go into them. But I'm really excited for how they're going to turn out, and I will be right back. Alright, back. We are going to start off with just Shelton Benjamin. This one, it's another one. It turned out well. I'm really happy. When I look at it now, I feel like I didn't have to do much. Like the decals went really well. Those laid on nicely. It just took a long time to paint everything. Once I got the paint done, threw on the decals, and it just was. That was it. It was done. Painted the legs, or the knee pads blue, kick pads. Painted the kick pads blue, knee pads are already red. I had to do the white outline around the thighs. I'll get a zoom up on the decals in a second. Painted on the wrist tape, put the decal on the shoulder for his tattoo that looks good. Which, while I was doing, like I had already done his decal I had already sealed it, and I found like some old basic arms of his that have the tattoo already, and I was a little annoyed because I don't think I'm gonna make another Shelton Benjamin. Maybe I'll make them in their like maroon attire down the road. That might be something fun to do, but kind of annoyed me after the fact. Anyway, I stuck with the Jakks head. The Mattel head. I put it on there. It was too small. I didn't like how it looked, especially next to Charlie. I thought the head, like just having the Jakks heads for both of them was good. But we can take a peek here. You can see the team angle on both sides. So that looks good. That sits good. Happy with that. Same thing on the other side. You can see shoulder there. He's got his tattoo, which I couldn't tell. Like the pictures I found weren't good of the time, or very representative of the time. So I couldn't tell if that was even accurate. Like I don't know if he had the tattoo then, but I had the decal. I figured, what the heck? Worst things worse. We just take it off later. But I'm going to get Charlie up here. We'll get them both, and then we'll get a group shot with the whole of Team Angle. Here's Charlie, and this one was way more intricate. Charlie Haas had a lot more going on with his singlet. So I basically like stripped all the paint and everything off the torso of the original paint and everything, because a lot of times with the singlet torsos, that paint like bleeds, so it doesn't line up correctly with the mold of the torso. So I tried to avoid that by just getting rid of all of it, because I didn't want any teal sticking out from underneath the red and the white. So obviously painted his whole figure blue, did the highlights, and then the decals were the ghost white decals from Curb Stomp. So if you use the ghost white decals, you have to put on like the white layer first, and then you put on the color layer over that. So essentially you're doing all the decals twice. You got to line them up right. And since Charlie had so many decals, it did take quite a while, but I'm really happy with how it turned out. It was fun. It was a little more challenging, which I like. The knee pads have that same like star design as Shelton, and then you can see I did paint the red underneath. I really like how that looks compared to the knee pads that I originally planned to go with. Like technically speaking, it would have been more accurate having those knee pads, but this looks way more sleek. I really like how that turned out. And then we'll just take a peek. Like I said, we'll take a peek again at some of the decals more up close. You can see the chest has a little bit of like imperfection on it. So we got the torso, so you can see like I put the white down here, and then the red also has the white underneath, so I put white there twice. The Team Angle on the side, so I actually need to put the red in there. I missed that, and then I had a little bit of scuffing on the back, but same thing. Like I said, I'm really happy overall. Like just how everything looks. Here we go. I'm going to get Shelton, I'm going to grab my Kurt Angle, and then I'm going to put them all together so we can finally see what Team Angle looks like in Mattel Elite form. There we go, Team Angle in their entirety, and when we got this Angle, I mean my hopes up, he's in his Team Angle attire. I was hoping we would get Charlie and a Shelton, at least in like a battle pack, but obviously that didn't happen. We still have not gotten a Mattel Charlie Haas figure. I don't know if we ever will. I think he was like a trainer with the... I don't know what his relations are with WWE, but it's unfortunate that we haven't gotten these guys. Obviously we have Shelton. At least, like we got Scotty 2 Hotty without Grandmaster Sexy. I know we got Rikishi, but throw out a Shelton Benjamin in his Team Angle attire. Even if we just have Kurt and Shelton officially, like, it's better than not. You never know down the line like who we're gonna get, who we might not. We might get Charlie in a few years when then Shelton's gone, which then we could have had that opportunity and missed it. So you never know. I'm not gonna be too upset because I've got them both in my collection anyway. They had their, like, Shelton would change his knee pads and kick pads sometimes. Like, sometimes we'd have blue knee pads with red kick pads. But Charlie always had the same thing. So obviously, like, we want official releases, but I'm happy with my customs. I think these three look really good together. I do want to get, so I have the red Team Angle jackets, sweatshirts, whatever, hoodies. I had two Kurt Angles at once, so I've put those on them on my shelf. But they wore, so Shelton and Charlie wore blue ones, and then Kurt wore red. I know Threadhead does have some blue ones available, so I might end up picking those up. We'll just have to see. We'll have to see where the funds are sitting once I get around and remember to doing that. But that's most likely where I'm going to go for those. And then we got the red one for Kurt. But overall, there they are. Team Angle. I'm really happy with today's Work in Progress Wednesday. It was a vigorous one. I haven't done this much painting in a while. I am trying to paint a little bit more. For the most part, I've just been doing, like, painting a base layer and then doing decals. And with these guys, there was a little bit more detail. And I had a lot of fun doing it. So, never going to complain when customs turn out well, and I had fun doing it. That is going to wrap things up for today, though. Please like, share, subscribe. I always appreciate it. If you like what we're doing here on the channel, I've got more Work in Progress Wednesdays that you can go and check out. I will post a video up here in a second that you can go click on if you'd like to go check out that playlist. We also have figure finds. We have plenty of things to go check out on the channel. So, with that being said, remember, you can't buy happiness, but you can buy figures. Figure Dude, out.